Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's live number 265. It's Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind. Oh, I say. Let me just. I'm trying to find me thingy. At my age, that's most difficult task. Right. That's the beginning. That's. And that's. Let's have a look at this. Is that. Oh, I say. Right. What? Oh. I was just looking at, just as a little aside, I was looking at some of the earlier lives. And that Triffid there wasn't anywhere near that size when we started 3 years ago. Oh, I say. So welcome to live number 265. It's we're just going to bring clarity to the chaos, because it is chaos, and I am going to reiterate some of the things that I've been telling you for 3 years, because they're coming to fruition. I mean, if only I could get the lotto or lottery numbers every bloody week, I'd be a happy bunny. What are they talking about, Rev? Oh man, just pay attention tonight. And for all those getting their feet under the pews, the starmers. Why do we? This is the body of the kirk. Why do we call the pews the starmers? Because they're hard on your derriere. So Pyle's cushions are over there, Battenberg's over there, and the more expensive altar wine after Robert Reeves during the week is over there. I'm sure Sister Mary will allow you to have a snifter, because we're not giving out large quantities now that the bloody price has gone up. No. And even I've had to go. I've had to have a go at the bishop because he's been drinking far too much. Not just the altar wine. And Sister Mary said, "But Rev, please be gentle with the bishop. You can't be bashing the bishop nearly every day." I said, "Sister Mary, if I was bashing the bishop every day, honestly, I'd give up being a man of the cloth, and I would just go away and be on my own for a while," so to speak. Garen Davis, game on, says Garen. I think Garen must have watched the Bournemouth Sunderland match yesterday. Oi, 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 oi. And where is she? Where is the number one Blades fan in the body of the kirk, Sandra Whittam? Now, as I said at the beginning of the season, you don't go playing like Sheffield United, the Blades, last season, and then start playing the way they are this season unless you've got a shite manager. And they got rid of the shite manager, and they brought the one that was helping them play fantastically last season. And now they've got 6 wins under the belt. I mean, oi, 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 the Blades, man. So, Barcodes won yesterday, though. Shame. So, Galen Davis, game on. Welcome to the body of the kirk, young sir. Paulie Gantieri, good evening, Adrian. You utter wrong, and hope you've had a good weekend. It's always a good weekend when Sunderland win. Not that I'm obviously obsessed, but there's... I will tell you something. It's private, obviously. I'll leave that there. God, I've got all kinds of stuff in my pockets. There's a lot of work going on in the background. I am intending on doing something in the morning, and then regularly in the morning. Now, it's not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning for a pee. That's just an age thing. But I am intending on shuffling a few things around. If you will indulge me, just in December, I'm going to try a few different things. I want to have a look at data. I want to have a look at the best start times, because I believe the 7:30 start times is not... It's kind of working, but it isn't working the way that the 8 o'clock start times used to. So I'm looking at timings of the lives and memberships and data. So I may move things around. So the live tomorrow night is going to start at 8 o'clock, not 7:30, not 7:15 parish notes, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock parish notes-ish at the beginning, and then we'll get into it. So I'm also going to look at... the length of the lives, because I'm intending on doing, so long as everything goes to plan, to the strategy, which I'm working on in the background, there'll be lots more content coming your way. We just got to get into a rhythm of doing things, and it's just me and sometimes the Scarlet Pimpernel. So it's a challenge, I will say that. It's a challenge. But I want to do things that are in alignment with my skill sets, my seemingly talent, and stuff. So we've had 3 years, 3 and a bit years, and we're kind of getting there. And I couldn't be doing now. No, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now 3 years ago because I've needed to take my time and get into the cockpit. Why do they call it a cockpit? Young Rev, I'll leave that to your own mucky minds, you tart. So welcome, Portly Galtieri. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk, young sir. David Graham, afternoon, evening, folks. Last show for the month with, I say, December the 1st tomorrow. Well, we're going to talk about, well, you know what happens on December 25th. Yeah. Even Jesus Christ had that one off. Because obviously you believe that the baby was born in a manger in, well, Mary and Joseph. And, well, it was real. Dear Lord. The nonces in Rome, the kiddie fiddlers, have had you over a barrel for 2,000 years. But if you want to have a beautiful erection in your living room or maybe in your kitchen or wherever you want your erection, you can have that. But we will be talking erections and December 25th, because it's a pagan celebration, and the nonces in Rome nicked, and all stuff, December, because tomorrow, December 1st. Right, so the 100 people now in the Body of the Kirk, if you could be ever so kind and just smash the likes, please, because we like smashing things. But so smash the likes, please, so we can get over 100 tonight, if that's at all possible. David Graham says it's scary. It's December 1st tomorrow. I know, it feels like it was yesterday was January and we were making predictions for 2025. Well, do you want me to make any predictions for 2026? All right, then. Maybe not tonight. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday, or maybe sometime during December. Because I did tell you that 2025 was going to be the year of the PSYOP. Loads of them, and politicians snorting Coca-Cola on trains and things. Things that politicians shouldn't be doing, like... no, don't. Oh dear Lord! The last safety measure is these two things, and well, I'm not going to say that because it will get me into a lot of trouble. So yeah, we'll make some predictions for 2026. I do predict. I'll tell you now, because I've been telling you about Venezuela for 3 years, and you didn't believe me, did you? No, you didn't. You just laughed at me. You thought, oh, it's the Rev. It's the Rev. He's a daft lad getting away with it. And it's the Rev. If only I'd be so inaccurate with the lottery numbers, man. I've told you what's going on with Venezuela. I've told you what's going on with Hungary. I've told you what's going on with Russia and China and North Korea and Iran and Iran. Hang on a second. I need to I just need to take a swally. This is pure vodka, by the way. Crazy Rolex. Hang on a second. A litre of G&T. I will tell you that the Middle East is not going to look like at the end of 2026 is not going to look like the way the Middle East is looking now. I mean, is Netanyahu going to take a bullet? I had a dream about that the other night. What are the odds? If you can give me 10 to 1, I might take a bet. In Iran, it's going to be a very different place. The royal family is going to be a very different royal family. It's all change. And now remember, this is November 2025 when I'm predicting this. But we'll talk about it more in depth as we hurtle headlong towards bloody 2026, man. I mean, we're now in territory where I thought we would never be, as in it was like science fiction. It was like Blade Runner. 2026. I'm getting myself all excited and I'm trying to breathe and swallow at the same time. Now, you know me, I'm a man, so I can only do one thing at a time. I can't multitask. I'm not swallowing before you say anything. Stop laughing. David Graham also says, oh, by the way, R.I.P. Billy Bonds, the ex-West Ham United captain who died at the age of 79. I don't know about you, but are we seeing more... and respect to Billy Bonds, I'm of an age where I can remember Billy playing for West Ham and being captain. But is it... are the newspapers, the mainstream media, kind of like shouting death, 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 death to us all the time? They're going, oh, bloody hell, Coronation Street legend dies suddenly. And then you go into the story and it's like somebody you've never heard of from like 100 years ago that you've never heard of. I mean, how old's Coronation Street now? 63? God, blimey. So it's like Billy Bonds. I can remember. Look, I can remember, who was the... West Ham used to be kind of like a second side for me, only because I loved the strip, and Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, and who was the black guy that played for West Ham, and he was this is back in the day when there was the West Ham side was mostly white. Can't remember his name, and he was a fantastic player, just and a super nice guy. I can see him, but I can't remember his name. Anyway, I loved West Ham because of Jeff Hurst, man. Billy Solix is Coronation Street 65. Hang on a second, you're wrong. Hang on, where's me? I'm gonna show you something. Yeah, Monkey Tart, stop that. We're being serious. Wasn't Gary Lineker. That's very funny, Comic Mania. Do you see this? In the Sunday Sun, not for any salacious reasons, but it says there, rebel with a cause. TV star Anita Rani on walking away from her marriage, finding new love in her 40s and embracing life without kids. Now, either I'm psychic, and I'm not, but I've seen that story before. I've seen the picture, I've seen the story, I've seen the pictures in the story. So I don't know whether the Sun on Sunday is regurgitating its shite. Just technical term that we use in radio. Over 100 people, and we've only got 57. Well, I never. What am I going to do to convince you that smashing the likes is a good thing? Well, I will say this. I do this for now. Today I have done 10 hours research. Yesterday I did 10 hours research. That's my weekend up the Swanee. Just to entertain you. So, you know, if at worst you can smash the likes, if at best you can smash the likes, I really do appreciate it. Genuinely, I appreciate any support that I get from any of the congregation in the body of the Kirk. So 130 watching now, it'll continue to climb, so to speak. So if you could just smash the likes and get it over 100, because there's more than enough people in the body of the Kirk. Rowley Gregor was the first Sunderland black player. AL 1967. Are you sure? Because I've got the book with every single player that played for Sunderland in a book. I'll have a look at that. Thank you for that. Was he Scottish? Because I know a load of the Scots came down because they were good dribblers, seemingly. Hang on a second. I knew there was something. I was sitting here just before I started thinking, what am I going to do? Switch the light on. I see who says, I'm fed up with celebrity. Nobody cares anymore. Oh, I'm with you. I see you. Me and you. A couple of cynical old tarts. I'm with you. I mean, I've not even watched I'm a Celebrity, Get Me in the Jungle. And all the paraphernalia that goes with it. Like, there's Kelly What's-Her-Face, both of them. I'm going to do Miley in class. What's that then? I mean, is it a technical term? I'm going to shower in my bikini. Hi, 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 hi. And then somebody else goes in and go, oh no, and that's the nature of celebrity. Oh no. Kelly Brook. Oh no, Foxtrot Oscar. We're looking at somebody else now in a bikini. And it's like, it's almost not dog whistle, but it's like Pavlov's dogs. You know, Pavlov's dogs eventually didn't even ring the bell to get them to feed. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Oh, I say that I'm a celebrity. I'm going into the jungle. I'll wear a swimsuit. Jesus H, you can go down to the beach during the summer and see 1 million of them. Who knew? Stanley Matthews was a dribbler for Blackpool. He was, Lionel. Stanley Matthews was some footballer. Oh, that's it, Les Griffiths. I'm a fading celebrity. Please hire me. I love it, love it, love. BD Cool. Back in the days when most of the foreign players in the English leagues were Scottish. That, you know, no truer word said in jest, BD Cool. I'm with you. And BD Cool says, I hate Ant Deck. That Geordies. You know how I feel. Oh, they must be crying into their Newkie Brown, like, oh, the Mackhams are... Well, we were in fourth yesterday. I don't know where we are now after today's matches, but, oh, the bloody Mackhams, man, the bloody Mackhams, man. Oh, me Newkie Brown's getting warm. Rich, I don't mind them, to be fair. Well, which one's straight and which one's not? I'll leave you to guess. Brian Cloughy could dribble a good ball. Ex-Hartlepool, ex-Sunderland, Comic Mania. He was one of our best players ever. He was some striker, Cloughy. Oy, 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 oy. And I have had the privilege of meeting him and talking with him. Just, oy, oy, oy. No greater gift. Anyway, Brian Clough, one of the best strikers Sunderland ever had. Agreed. AL 1967. So, what we're going to talk about tonight, man? Ant and Deck think they are the new Morecambe and Wise. They aren't even the new Mike and Bernie Winters. Les Griffiths, have you been drinking tonight? You're very funny. That's very funny. Well, we have to be men of a certain age, Les, because somebody's going to go, so who's Mike and Bernie Winters? Don't you remember Schnorbitz? The big dog. And Bernie Winters was some size as well. Which one was Mike? Was he the thin one, the good-looking one, and not the funny one, but the funny one was Mike. Bernie. Big Irish contingent in the Arsenal back in the day. Tom Harney's. We had Charlie Hurley, a proper Irishman, and he was a man mountain. And I met Charlie when he had a book, biography written about him. Charlie Hurley, in my view, the best. Because the new Sunderland fans are going, Granit Xhaka, the best Sunderland player ever. And I'm like, oh, here, get a hold of yourself, get a grip, 2 hands, please. Charlie Hurley was the best centre-half the game has ever seen. But because nobody really knows about him now that we're in the 2025, and Charlie was playing in the 50s and 60s, we're Cloughy. People have forgotten about him, but... Charlie Hurley, one of the greatest footballers to ever pull his boots on, played for Sunderland, and one of the best centre-halves ever to play the game worldwide, ever. He came up from Millwall to Sunderland. Anyway, I digress. I normally only talk footy with Sandra. But welcome to the Don't Make Sunderland fans like they used to, Comic Mania. I agree. Oh, but Wise Man says, only fools rush in because I can't help falling in love with you every bloody time. It brings me to tears. Come on! At the beginning and, well, till the end. How are the lads? Hang on, Napoleon Bonaparte, the golden shot. Are we talking about Bonnie Blue again? Not Bernie the Bald. No, not Bernie the. Sorry, I'm kind of flattening my vowels now, and people are going, "Oh, can we have a translator?" No, Bernie the Bolt was Bernie the Bolt from the Golden Shot. Bernie Winters. I think he had his own. Did he have his own chat show? I think Schnorbitz actually did the chatting. But Schnorbitz was one of those big dogs. Napoleon Bonaparte, you mucky old tot. Ooh, Anne Aston. I'll leave that with anybody who can remember for half an hour. It was disgusting. What was Les? I was laughing a minute ago. Didn't one of them get done for drink driving? I'm sorry, officer. I can't see. Oh, I mean, genuinely, I wish I could tell you what I know. Well, all I'll say is, you know that, what's his face? The one that got jailed, the one that used to hold the sex parties. I can't remember his name, man, the dodgy one. The PR. Everybody knows him. He went to jail for, we shan't talk about the sex parties much. Bernie Winters had the St. Bernard dog. That's right, David Graham. Bernie Winters. So he was called Schnorbitz. I'm sure he was called Schnorbitz. Heinz was the one before Bernie. Oh, Tippy Tappy Feet, Max Clifford. Did you interview him? Max Clifford used to hold the sex parties that were quite well known in showbiz. But you could always tell when Max was doing the PR, because if somebody was about to be outed, then they would suddenly find themselves in bed with a lap dancer or a pool dancer, and I'm sure she did on the pool. So you could always tell that they were just kind of hiding things so that you didn't suss that they weren't on the same bus as you thought they were on. They were on a completely different bus, and Max used to get them. Oh, darling, you've been with so and so, so and so. So just say that you've and he was very good, and he was at it 5 or 6 times a night. Brilliant, and we'll pay you 10 grand. Lovely, lovely, free money. Comic Mania, I made my excuses and left. Oh, that was the journalists. And if you and I know journalists, the way we know journalists, made their excuses and left. What? The thing I got off the last banana boat? Hadaway and Shite Man, just a quick fiddler's elbow, and then they left, going, oh, I've got to be back at the office. I mean... Bob Carroll G's runs a candle shop in Runcorn now. Does he? Town Block Tracy? Well, I never... that's the dog. Another dog. We've got Hermits, and now we've got Spit, the dog. Frank Boff, what went wrong there? Lewis, what went right? Everything. He made all that money and then decided he needed a thrashing for making all that money. Him and Jamie Watsy Theakston. Oh, is this a dungeon? What do we do when we're down here? Oh, mistress. Frank Buff. All of that. I'm making my own gags up and I'm laughing at them, and you don't even know what I'm saying. And Frank Buff, spanked with a table tennis bat. Mistress. Oh, mistress. How much is that? Oh, far too much, Frank. Just sit down and put your jumper back on. Honestly, who would have thought Uncle Frank Buff going to a BDSM dungeon? You can't see me lips move. So, Napoleon blown apart, got the gag. Right, you can have a brownie point. Biff, Baff, Boff. Frank, Boff, Biff, Baff. I'm wasted on you. Not Napoleon blown apart, obviously. Right, because I'm just wittering on, because I'm enjoying just being back alive again. I want to bring some good news to the body of the Kirk, and thank you to Andrew James, because a lot of times people, and I mean this gently and genuinely, that this is a community, and I'm going to turn it more so into a community over the next few weeks. And sometimes when people don't appear for a while, like Tower Block Tracy, I think she's probably been in Clink for a few weeks for doing something very unnecessary with varying blue uniforms. But it's not for me to speak. It is not for me to speak. How big's that truncheon officer? Not for me to speak. So when people go away, I completely understand it. Life gets in the way sometimes. You can't manage the lives, and you're now laughing your cap off while walking the dog in the broad daylight. And, well... so I want to say thank you to Andrew James. I don't know whether he's in the body of the... there we go. So Andrew James, beef, don't you mean Ian Botham? He was no stranger to dancing. Shagger Botham? What can I say? So Andrew James, I want to say thank you. Because, as I was saying, some people kind of come and go. It's better to come than go, obviously. And... or be here in the body of the Kirk, in the congregation. And we all know that Sir Andrew James, dear lady, the lady Andrew James, has not been so well this year in 2025. So thank you to Sir Andrew James for just letting me know what's been going on. And I'll read it to you verbatim. Good afternoon, Rev. Hope you and your wife are in fine fettle. My wife has just received her results. and I'm delighted to report that it's all good news. The doctors found no signs of cancer nor any suspicious abnormalities. Of course, they've wisely insisted on regular checkups in the future. Could you kindly pass on our heartfelt thanks to your sexy flock for all their kind thoughts and prayers? Their support has meant more than they know. Whilst you're at it, please give a special nod to Tom's cat, Harley. Maybe we could club together and buy Harley a ticket to see Cats. VIP ticket, of course. And not forgetting Ghetto's legendary Lucky Short Trousers, which makes the Sister Mary shake with excitement. We are deeply grateful for the collective goodwill, thoughts and prayers which have helped through this anxious time. Kindest regards, Andrew. So it's wonderful news. Thank you, Andrew. I just want everybody to know, because I know everybody, a lot of the parishioners were supporting Andrew in various ways, especially with comments in the body of the Kirk. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. It's brilliant news, Tippy Tappy Feet says. So thank you, Andrew, for letting us know. Really appreciate it. So what we're going to talk about tonight? Oh, well, we're going to be making your hair curl tonight, man. Hair curling. We're going to bring clarity to the chaos. And we're going to talk about Farage and bodily fluids. Not in the way that you think. We're going to talk about Dr. Death, Anthony Fauci. He's so far in the brown stuff, he can't see above that. Europe wants war. I'll explain why. Digital ID. Oh, I say, we're going to have a major update this evening. Digital ID. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I'm not explaining that to you. It's kind of Italian for Foxtrot Oscar. So we're going to talk about Trump, and I will reiterate, because there's new people coming into the body of the Kirk all the time, and I really appreciate that. But I am going to tell you what we and the body of the Kirk have known for 3 years from the very beginning, and maybe I will start with it. And we're going to morph into where's Sniffy? I know where's Wally, but where's Sniffy? He's baggered off. Has he? Where is he? What's he doing? Tell you later. And it's big in Japan. So we're talking about Japan and what they're doing with Islam. I'm not joking. And thank you to the anonymous emailer who just kind of gave me the info and the nod. And we'll talk about jury trials, and we've got a lot to pack in. A lot. So thank you to everyone. Fauci's pardon is cancelled. Oh, well, Les, you're not far behind, are you? So that's why Trump is cancelling anything with an auto pen. Anything. So as of yesterday, anything that was kind of made an executive order with an auto pen, 96, 98% of them weren't done by Biden. Didn't even know what bloody day it was. Oh, hello. Are we having an ice cream today? Am I? Who am I? What am I? Oh. Who's going to change my trousers for me? So President Shitty Pants, all of the auto pen stuff, that includes the pardon for Anthony Fauci and Big Mike and Bathhouse Barry. If you don't know who that is, I'll explain a little bit later. Bathhouse Barry, I'm sure you know who that is. And Big Mike, you know who Big Mike is. Yeah. So should we start with Farage? I mean, this is... Not only have they been editing Trump to make him look one way, not that way, that way, and Matthew Whedon, Sniffy's doing the rest of his cocaine supply before he does a Lord Lucan. His supply, he'd never get through that in 10 years. Where's he going to march to? So the BBC, they are in so much trouble. Seemingly, the makeup artists that have been applying makeup, telly makeup on Nigel Farage, according to historian and best-selling author Lisa Hilton, who has presented BBC TV documentaries, she's made this claim that the makeup artists used bodily fluids on Farage during his BBC appearances. So we'd go down to makeup. Oh, morning, ladies. Morning. Oh, hang on a second. I just need to... that's better. Morning, ladies. Right, ready for me breakfast makeup. And seemingly there were body fluids in those things. So Farage's face was painted deliberately and was deliberately contaminated. They contaminated the brushes when appearing on its BBC programmes. And this is not a big story. It's kind of just slipping under the radar. And tonight, I want to get all the stories out that are slipping under the radar that you need to know about. Because I just want to make sure you have context, thereby understanding, and thereby you can kind of talk to those people around you and give them some succor. Some succor means support, you tart. Did they do the hair thing on him? Remember the scene where something about Mary? That's exactly it, Stuart. I think when they're talking about bodily fluids, I don't. Well, it could be a mixture, a myriad. Oh, brilliant. Garen Davis, comment of the night. Is that getting shit-faced? Wonderful. Because it's funny. But it's, for me, it's a massive story. The BBC's already in the brown stuff. There we go again. And now this, I mean, how long can the BBC survive? They're not even going to get the bloody BBC licence anymore, man. They're talking about 200 quid for a year. 200 quid, £4 a week. Foxtrot Oscar. Oh, the hibiscus is going down rather well this evening. Lauren Taylor says, that's unbelievable and disgusting beyond words. I completely agree with you. This is a massive story. And like the front of, I know it's reversed and I don't want it to be, but there's kind of a non-story on the front of the Sun. My hell with Jade's son. Poor Jade Goody. She's been in her grave for bloody years and they still won't leave her alone. So he's a young guy. He's probably doing what young guys do. Like he's knocked his girlfriend up and now he's doing gear with other girls, according to her. I mean, what are we breeding? I swear. It just doesn't, I can't compute any of this. Any of it. Because we're not actually bringing children up anymore with any values, any integrity, anything. Except they just want to do what they want and expect what they want, and they want to do what they want when they want and how they want it, and nobody actually has any accountability or anything. But that's the main news story of this week. I would suggest makeup artists putting jizz into makeup and then putting it on Farage's face while he's on BBC Breakfast and all other brown stuff. That is a massive story. But I will tell you this, it's going to be squashed. It's the BBC. The BBC merely propaganda arm of the government. So it'll be squashed. But I would suggest to young Nige and Reform, all of them, that, well, just get your own makeup bag. Not like that. But makeup bag and take it with you for every TV appearance. And don't use anybody else's makeup because you don't know what's in it. We do now. So, once it gets close to 200, I'll cancel it. Billy Solix. Wonderful. I mean, I've told you this story before. The BBC got on to me. Live on my own. Or it used to live on my own. And so they got me eventually to be 1 year ahead of the license. So my license would be due and they go, oh, brilliant, we've got so much money, we can just take your license fee, right? It's a scam, I know. But then when I moved house into a house that already had a license, they wouldn't give me the money back. Thieving bar stewards wouldn't give me the money back. Even if I claimed, and you had to go through rigmarole and hoops to find the form on the BBC website. And so I lost about 170 quid. Couldn't get it back. Now it's possibly time debarred. So never got it back. Which is why I'll always slag the BBC off. I've got friends and stuff that work for them, and I used to work for them until I wasn't. Oh, dear. And I was just thinking, as I was climbing the stairs, a bit like Kermit the Frog, halfway up the stairs, I was thinking, you didn't realise what I did there, did you? We're back to Frank Boff, Kermit the Frog. I'll wait for you. Oh, yes, Stephen Hall, thank you. Brian Hayes passed away, I think it was yesterday. I saw something on an LBC Facebook page saying that Brian had passed away, 79-year-old. So that's a point I was going to make earlier, apart from the Kermit the Frog. Let me just bring clarity here, because I don't want to juxtapose two things at the same time. So Brian Hayes, RIP, old work colleagues at LBC made me aware. I think he was 79. Great consummate broadcaster, wonderful, great voice as well. So thank you, Stephen, for reminding me. I nearly forgot about that. And then Kermit the Frog, halfway up the stairs, I was. You see, I'm being distracted now. What was I thinking about? In fact, let's get in and Anthony Fauci. If I remember, I'll remember. If I don't, I'll probably remember for tomorrow night. So you'll have to come here for more. We'll do Fauci, Dr. Death. But as Les Griffiths has pointed out in the chat, Dr. Death was given a pardon with the automatic pen, the auto pen. And now that, with immediate effect, Trump has said that it wasn't Biden that was using the auto pen. So most of the auto pen in the last couple of years before he became president, he's going to cancel, which means that Dr. Death hasn't got a pardon anymore. And neither has Biden's son, Hunter. No, he hasn't got it either. So all of the pardons that Biden was doing in sort of the last 6 months. Okay, Lauren, I was using a very broad brushstroke, but I will say this as balance for what I said. Lauren Taylor says, not all the youngsters are wasters. My niece, 19, is hardworking and is a respectful young woman. She has Crohn's disease, but still goes to work, has never claimed anything, nor would she. Fantastic, Lauren. But, you know, I mean, I know that talking about Jade Goody's son, Freddie, is kind of a broad brushstroke with all the kids. Yes, of course, there are some fantastic kids. And there are some fantastic kids that are getting their head down, that they realise they've only got one shot at life and are doing it. But the amount of recreational gear, weed and ketamine and stuff, MDA and ecstasy that well, not just the kids, the adults are doing. It's almost as if people don't know who they are anymore. And there is a reason why I'm saying this. It's a bit like Trump. I'm not as good as Trump at 5D chess, but I'm working on something in the background that when I bring it here, you'll understand why I've talked about the lack of integrity and accountability. But good on your niece, Lauren. Really pleased to hear that, because they'll get it. Life's not easy. It's quite stony. And as you go through life, if you haven't learned your lessons, they come around again, just in different ways. But the good ones, the good kids, learn their lessons early, so they can enjoy this magnificent nirvana that we're experiencing. Because I believe this is heaven itself. It's just that, you know, there's little thingies on your shoulders going, oh, do this, oh, do this, oh, do this. And those that succumb, well, they might not come back again. They might spend eternity looking in the mirror going, Jesus H, did I really do that? Anyway. So Farage, and he's going to have to take his own makeup, but let's talk about Dr. Death. So the FDA chief in America has said that Fauci, and I quote, is 100% involved in, and again, it's a quote directly, massive Charlie 19 Origins cover-up. Oh, it was a bat in a wet market. Put a roof on it then, it'll soon dry up. And I'm quoting here, whether or not he was involved in the experiments or funding the experiments that led to the origin of COVID, he was clearly 100% involved in the cover-up, the FDA head has said. Now, let me just offer you this. So, from Les saying that the auto pen pardons are gone. So all these Bathhouse Barry and Big Mike and Dr. Death and all them, they're all gonna get it. And now the FDA is saying, oh, yeah, he's definitely involved, 100% involved. But whether or not he was involved in the experiments or the funding the experiments that led to the origins of COVID, he was clearly 100% involved in the cover-up. Now, I know that Dr. Death visited the Wuhan lab. Oh, and who was the other American president that visited the Wuhan lab? That'll be Bathhouse Barry then. Or if you're wondering who Bathhouse Barry is, it doesn't take Einstein to work this out. Of course, it was Barack Obama. And Big Mike. Who's Big Mike? You know why they call him, Big Mike, don't you? I'll leave it to work out. I've given you enough clues. I'll leave you to work it out. Oh, that's why. Let's just do this so I can see what I'm doing. Comic Mania. Shitty Pants even pardoned his own bloody son, Hunter. Well, yeah, but the auto pen that Trump has cancelled means that Hunter isn't pardoned anymore. Dr. Death isn't pardoned anymore. Was Killary pardoned? Was Billy the Shagger pardoned? I mean, I'm using these names up just for legal reasons. A tippy tappy feet. Big Mike. So I've heard. Do you need me to say any more? There is a reason why it's called Big, size queen. Now, people may laugh at me and go, oh, bloody conspiracy theorists again, Adrian. You can laugh as much as you want. But I'm now going to give you an education. So sit down comfortably, whether you've got a cuppa or not, whether you're walking the dog in bright sunshine, first thing on a Tuesday morning listening to this. If you're a regular, you will know this. But I am going to tell you something that you need to hold on to with both hands. I told you 3 years ago when I first started these lives that the Rothschilds family, who own pretty much all of the central banks worldwide on planet Earth, I mean, we're something like hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt. The planet is massively in debt. Who to? Uranus. Or it might be Mars. So we're wallowing in all this debt because the job of a bank, any bank, every bank, central bank, every bank, Bank of England, which is technically not the Bank of England, it's a private company, as is the Fed, private company. So all these banks, the gig is make money out of nothing. Nix, nada, nout. So that's how banks operate. They'll take your money and then they're allowed to loan that amount. So say you've got £1,000 and you go to the bank and go, I've got £1,000, I'm going to put it in the bank. The bank can then lend that £1,000 4.5 times to other people who will pay interest on it. So literally the bank taking your £1,000 can loan out 4.5 grand and earn the interest on the 4.5 grand, and they've made money from nothing. So why am I saying this? I've told you that there are 6 countries left on planet Earth where the central banks don't belong to the Rothschilds. You sitting comfortably? I'll tell you them. It was Syria, but now they've got it. And again, for 2026, I'll kind of drip feed this during December. Syria is going to be a major rebuild project that is going to have trillions flowing into Syria to rebuild it after the war. But the Rothschilds now own the Syrian central bank. There was 7. Hang on, that's 8. 7. You can tell I'm not a banker. I'm not a merchant banker either before you start. So now there's 6. So who are the 6? Russia, obvs. China, obvs. North Korea, Iran, Hungary, and Venezuela. So you're sitting kind of flicking through your morning papers, thinking, oh, I'll have a good flick this morning before I go into work. And you're flicking through your newspapers and you go, Venezuela? What's Trump getting his knickers in a twist about Venezuela for? Because the Rothschilds want to own the Central Bank of Venezuela. Venezuela is one of the biggest oil and gas producers in the world. planet Earth. I think it's got the largest reserves, oil reserves in the world, over and above Saudi. And they did say back in when I was kind of doing all this conspiracy stuff 20, 30 years ago, they were saying, oh, by the time we get to 2030, United Nations Agenda 2030, anybody? By the time we get to 2030, the oil's going to run out in Saudi. So we've got to find new oil and gas around the world, which is why the Caspian Sea, the Black Sea, and Venezuela is making a shit ton of money. But it's not going to the people. It's going to the elite in Venezuela. So now Trump, and I told you this was coming 3 years ago. I told you it was coming. That what they would do is they would get control of Venezuela. They would get control of Iran. They would try to get control of Hungary, which is why Hungary is being contested by Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. And she's under investigation for criminal stuff, corruption. Billions and billions and billions of euros worth of corruption. She's being investigated. So Venezuela, Syria they've got, Venezuela they're on the way to, and they're trying to noise up Hungary so they can knock off Hungary before they decide to go for Iran. Now Iran, the Ayatollah is how can I put this delicately, is not going to be very well in 2026. And there's a man waiting in the wings to take over, which he's an oil man, he's a plant. So Iran, and watch it, because I'm going to tell you something about Netanyahu in a second. Watch it, because I know this might seem high level and over the top, but if you can see this clarity in amongst the chaos, they're flooding the zone every single day in the newspapers. They're flooding the zone. So all you need to do is hold on to this, because this is the fulcrum around which everything else revolves. Starmer and Ukraine, and that's the money laundering capital of the world. Ukraine. You know, there's $350 billion gone missing. I'll say that to you again. There's $350 billion gone missing in Ukraine. That's why Sniffy's legged it either to his hotel and property portfolio in Eilat, or he's actually in America. You think they were negotiating peace for Ukraine when he was over at the White House? Howie, man, get with the program. This is the fulcrum around which everything else revolves. And if you've got this, you've got clarity. If you've got clarity, you've got understanding. And if you've got understanding, you've got protection for yourself, your family, and your community. So, Venezuela, they're after the central bank. Forget all of the flim-flam and the it's all about the central bank. Hungary, I don't know how they're going to do that, because Hungary is really thriving. So it might be Iran. But then all of a sudden, you've just got a couple of big uns, so to speak. But if you grasp what I'm telling you now, you've got everything. You've got see-through all the politicians, all of the world events, the geopolitics, and everything. You understand what's going on. And it's all got to happen before the United Nations Agenda 2030 kicks in 2027. That's why they want Venezuela done now, for the oil and the gas. Big money, trillions. All those oil reserves. So what I was going to say to you around Dr. Death was that, yes, according to the FDA chief, he's 100% involved. And whether or not he was involved in experiments or funding the experiments, look, here's the clarity. I'll decode this really simply for you. And I know this is why you're here. Doesn't matter what went on 5 years ago. And we don't judge whether you took the jibber jabber or not. You were trying to do the best thing by you, your family, and your community. And everybody was just trying to do the right thing and the best thing. But I will tell you this. The jibber jabber was not designed for Charlie 19. Charlie 19 was designed for the jibber jabber. It's a subtlety, but I know you understand it. I'll say it to you again. The jibber jabber was not designed for Charlie 19. Charlie 19 was designed for the jibber jabber, and Dr. Death is getting calmer in 2026. Just keep watching. He got his pardon. Didn't last long until Trump got in. Dr. Death, he's getting it. 2026. Mark my words, come back and you can watch this again, or tell your friends. I might even clip this and put it up in the morning. So let's talk about Europe. And the reason why I'm talking to you about this is because, personally, I don't want your kids or your grandkids going to war. I don't want Starmer to put boots on the ground. I know it's a threat. It's a bit like Robert Reeves's budget. It was a threat. But I've said to you before, they always give you worst case scenario. And then when that doesn't happen, you have a sense of relief. You kind of go, oh, brilliant. She hasn't put taxes up by 2%, or she hasn't put up national insurance by 3%, or she hasn't done this and she hasn't done that. When there was a threat of doing that, because they control the media, the narrative and the messaging within the media. They're telling you. So I'm telling you this. Europe's leaders have no strategy for peace. Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. Do not trust her as far as you can chuck her. Her and her 7 kids. And she's under investigation for corruption. I'm waiting for this bunch of socialists, caring, understanding 90s type, to be under investigation. They're talking about ethics committee. Why can't they get the Kent committee? Because there's a bunch of Kents in there. So that's all they need. Just get a Kent committee together and just wheedle out all the Kents in Parliament. So it's very clear. It is by now very clear that European leaders, all of them, you know, the socialists, keep the red flag flying high. She's had that many. Oh, no, don't, don't, bloody hell. So the European leaders want the war in Ukraine to continue. So, hang on, what did I see you say? Very, very reek bunch of Kents, Napoleon Bonaparte. I know. Where's I see you gone? Ban wise. Right, okay. So there is a reason why I've told you about the central banks around the world. There's only 6 of them. You can remember them all. Venezuela, Hungary, North Korea, China, Russia, Iran. They're going to get Venezuela soon. They're going to have Iran by the end of 2026. So that only leaves 4 of them, man. I've told you about China. Xi Jinping, he's not very well. He's going to, well, from... I just have a very strong feeling that he's going to fall off his perch in 2026. And the Chinese economy is going to flatline. It's in the brown stuff. And Russia, they don't want the war to continue. China doesn't want the war to continue in Ukraine because they make too much money out of it. But the politicians do. Ursula von der Leyen, she, don't you bloody dare. Don't you bloody dare. It'll be Europe against Russia. And Putin's laughing his cap off, man. What he should do is go, here, where's that, she's got 7 kids? Right, see if she can take this interballistic continental interballistic missile thing. And just blow it all to smithereens. And what will happen? The Europeans will go, oh! So which war do we start? Do we start the war with Iran and launder our money through Israel? Because that's what it's about. I've told you, politics is not politics anymore. Politics is the grift. It's the front for just laundering all of this money through the laundromat that is the Ukraine war. It's not about integrity. It's not fighting for any kind of survival. That's why Sniffy's on the gear. That's why Sniffy's off to his hotels in Eilat, swimming in the Red Sea. And that's why his head of staff or second in command has just been lifted at his home over the weekend, because they're talking about 100 million. 100 million. My hairy backside. We're talking $350 billion worth of corruption. And nobody's worked this out. It won't be the mainstream media, because the mainstream media are just telling you a pack of lies. In fact, as I have said a myriad times on these lives, the only thing the newspapers ever get right is the price on the front. Everything else is just a story and a lie. It's pandering to the bedfellows that go, How much advertising do you need? Yeah, we'll just pay for some advertising. That's how they wash the money in the mainstream media. That's how you never find out. Have you not seen the amount of advertising on a Saturday and a Sunday when they charge more than they do during the week? The mainstream media, the daily newspapers, the rags. I wouldn't wipe my backside with them because it's all made up shite. As I said, prima facie evidence, my lord. So Jade Goody's boy, Freddie, is dancing with a girl, knocks her up, and well, she's fallen out with him, and he's gone off and he's doing seemingly according to her and the son, which will have run it by then lawyers. He's doing gear, but look, tons of kids are doing it now. They're doing it as young as 12 and 13-year-old, man. And we're allowing this? It's like they're having sex under 16. It's statutory rape. Any child having sex under 16 in this country, the law states it's statutory rape. So why aren't we saying, right, this is, now it's like, oh, come here, mummy will give you a cuddle. Fucking hell. Can I not be any more clear to you? Illegality is illegality. But then we've got that daft fat old tart, David Lammy. Oh, I'm in charge now. Look at this. Yes, I've got a new suit. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm in charge. Well, what we'll do is we'll get rid of the juries. Remember, for 3 years I've told you, they're going to give you a solution to a problem you didn't know you had. I'll say it to you again. They're going to give you a solution to a problem you didn't know you had. So Europe want to go to war. They want to defend Ukraine. They want Ukraine to be in NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. They want to control Ukraine so that they're on the doorstep of Russia and Russia will just bomb the bejesus out of them. Russia won't bugger about. Russia lost 12 million fighting men stopping Hitler. The largest death rate to any one community was Russian, not anybody else. Over 12 million dead. World War II alone. And now Ukraine have lost somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million of their young men. The generation of young men that would obviously just propagate children in Ukraine. And now the birth rate, unless everybody flies to Ukraine and starts knocking all the Ukrainian women up, they're not going to have enough people, men, to bring through this next generation. And Europe's leaders have no strategy for peace. They just want to bomb the heck out of Russia. And the Russians are pretty good fighters, let me tell you. So it should obviously be clear to you that the European leaders prefer war in Ukraine to continue, that they fear peace. Well, a quick one anyway. 7 kids, Ursula von der Leyen bitch. Obviously a fan of a quickie. So many believe Europe is already at war and seemingly a little gung-ho to turn it into a shooting war. But the new war's not going to be about bombs and bullets. This could be a distraction because already Europe has its digital ID in place. You are aware of that, aren't you? And let me take you through a couple of steps so that you get clarity. It is important that you have clarity in this chaos. 1, Robert Reeves has a surplus. It's not a 22 billion black hole, the lying tart. We knew that. We knew that the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, had already told her that. We knew that. That's why Starmer stopped using it, because they realised that if they continued doing it, they were lying to Parliament and lying to the people. So they've stopped doing it, saying, well, we didn't lie. We didn't lie. We thought it was. That's step one. Step two is that Robert Reeves, on behalf of Queer as Folk Starmer, they've agreed to give Ursula von der Leyen £50 billion. Because the only reason Europe wants us in through the back door, or what was the Led Zeppelin song, in through the outdoor, the only reason why they want us in there is for the moolah, the Reddies, the Benjamins, the Greenbacks. They're not interested in anything else. Or, send us your young men because they're just going to go into the meat grinder in Ukraine. They're going to die. But we want your money. Give us $50 billion. So Starmer has promised Ursula von der Leyen $50 billion. That's why Robert Reeves, is trying to amass all of this money to give it to Europe. The Fabians, the Socialists, the Chinese Communist Party. Well, the Chinese Communist Party's finished. I'll explain that as we go through the end of 2025. 2026, mark my words, I've not been wrong. Told you about Black Swan events 2 years ago. I told you that 2024 was going to be the Black Swan year. I told you 2025 was going to be the year of the PSYOP, and I wasn't far wrong about the bloody PSYOPs. So there's the 2 points. Robert Reeves is collecting all this money to give it to the Europeans because Ursula von der Leyen seemingly is under investigation for corruption. So let's just see where that money goes. But there's a surplus, and I'm going to get to that in just a little while. If you're here and it's the first time, I really would appreciate it if you could smash the likes. We've got over 100. There's nearly 200 people watching currently. So just smash the likes. That's all I ask of you. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I wouldn't ask financially anything of you. But smashing the likes helps the channel massively. So if the Europeans are really wanting the Ukraine war to continue so they can launder more money, get the money into Europe, Europe puts it into a non-governmental organisation, then washes it, and then it comes out back into the trouser pockets of the politicians across Europe. So Europe, I would suggest, are obsessed with inflicting defeat on Russia. What is less clear is why they think this way. Unless it's just money, readies. So I would suggest to you, here's the clarity in the chaos. An answer is emerging. There is a method to this madness. So some people are saying World War III is being fought and the future of humanity is at stake. That's the Pope. That's Chief Paedophile. Remember World War II. How did the Nazis get out of Germany into South America? The Vatican. The Vatican. Now, seemingly, all of the, Russia and China, they're communists. Communists, agnostic at best. They don't believe in God, so why would they be fraternizing with the Catholic Church? But the Nazis knew which side of their bratwurst was buttered. Get your sausage out. So, in the Pope's first overseas speech since he was made the leader of the Catholic world in May, the American Pope, or is he Italian Pope, or is he, well, he speaks English without an American accent and he kind of speaks fluent Italian. He said that ambitions and choices that trample on justice and peace were throwing the world into chaos. He's overseeing the biggest paedophile ring that humankind has ever known, apart from the Hasidics in New York. And he's doing nothing about that. The amount of abuse in North America could have bankrupted the Catholic Church. Oh, they don't tell you that, do they? No. So he told political leaders in Turkey, gobble gobble, that the world was experiencing a heightened level of conflict on a global level, fueled by prevailing strategies of economic and military power. Oh, shut the fuck up. Sorry, did I say that out loud? So the Catholic Church has a lot to answer for over the last 2,000 years. Keys of St. Peter, and they supported the Nazis to get them out of Germany into South America with new passports and new identities via Italy. Provable. Fact. So let me tell you what World War III is. And again, I'm giving you clarity. We're going all the way through this and I'm giving you clarity. Digital ID. I'm going to give you an update that's going to make your hair curl. Digital ID is World War III. Do not be mistaken. Ukraine is a money laundering exercise. That's it. You've got it in a one. Ukraine is a money laundering exercise worldwide for political leaders and politicians to make as much money as quickly as possible without getting caught. According to Channel 4, Hitler died on a sofa and a US soldier took a sample of the blood-stained sofa. Did he, Andrew James? Is that on their iPlayer or their whatever catch-up it is? I'll have a look at that. Because I've seen the series Hunting Hitler, which is mind-blowing. And the little South Americans, Chile, Guatemala, Argentina, they don't like talking about it. No, they don't. But is that why Argentina is a very right-wing country? Anyway, let me get to World War III. It is online. It is cyber. That's where World War III is happening right now, and we are in the middle of it. I've told you the three countries to look at as a sort of an extension of GB, United Kingdom. It is Canada, it is Australia, and it is New Zealand. Because they're all WEF puppets. And whatever happens in those countries will come to this country eventually. Not America. Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Watch them like a hawk. And that skinny politician who likes to, she's, you know, is she a mate of Zelensky? How is it if you ain't got a back spare, man? And now that she's come out of politics, she's put weight on, she's been in rehab. So digital ID, keep watching Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and you'll get what's coming here. I'm going to give you, so I'm going to ask you a question. It's not for like 1 or 2 or 3. It's not that. I just want to ask you a personal question. When was the last time you went online? And did you have to identify to access software online? So whether you were checking into your Google account or email account or, I don't know, your social media account, whether it was Facebook or, I've got Grok in my head, but it's X, Twitter. So whether it was TikTok or Twitter or Instagram or Meta or Facebook, have you accessed any of those in the last 7 days? And did you have to sign in? Doing this gently, and I'm walking you through this. Because if you did, Comic Mania says every government website for sure. So that's the beginning of the prison. That's the beginning of the prison. When you're having to sign in, they want you to sign in. Stephen Hall says only email. Lionel says yes. Hayden says you have to have an account with Microsoft to go into Windows. But Nikki Watson and Stuart have said no. So they start, remember what I've been telling you for 3 years, they're going to give you a solution to a problem you didn't realize you had. So now, I don't know, and I was thinking about doing Substack for my writing. I'm telling you this now, it is fact. Substack are introducing ID checks to comply with UK censorship law. For clarity, do you want me to tell you this again? This is World War III. It's a fight for your identity, your freedom, your country. Substack introduces ID checks to comply with UK censorship laws. So this is the game. They introduce some censorship laws, so you have to identify who you are to access them. Amalia Grassi says, very recently, have to regularly. Sid James, yup, you got it, AA. And Nikki Watson, I sorted my car insurance out this week and nothing when logging in anywhere. So they're giving you an option of, and I had this the other day, you can sign in. I was doing remote access for something. You could sign in without an account, but you could sign in with an account. And it's about convenience. They show you this is convenient for you if you want to sign in. A solution to a problem you didn't realize you had. So now, by now, you're probably realizing that the internet is being slowly fitted into a digital checkpoint. Remember what I said at the beginning. This is World War III. This is a fight for your integrity, your freedom, your very online survival. So Substack, that cozy digital home where newsletter authors rant, muse about things and argue about everything from politics to fan fiction of 19th century philosophers. It's the latest to be roped into the bureaucratic puppet show known as the UK's Online Safety Act. And like all the kids were just signing up to some of the adult websites. And then once you had to prove that you were over 18, poof, a lot of the usage of the adult websites, shall we say, or apps, suddenly dropped. And now the British government has decided that if you're reading mildly spicy newsletters, you must first present identification. Honest. Genuinely. So Substack, you've got to sign in. And to access some of the platform's content, and look, I'm not being a drama queen about this. I'm not running off at the mouth saying, oh, we're all going to die, we're doomed, because that's not what I do. I decode things so that you have the clarity. And you can take that clarity away for understanding, and that understanding away for protection of you, your family, and your community. So here's the grift. To access some of Substack's content, you may soon have to upload a selfie and a government-issued ID. You with me? A selfie and a government-issued ID. So what this means for readers in the UK is simple. Prepare to be interrupted. You're sitting down to read your favourite newsletter, or you might want to read my Decoded or Theatre of the Mind. Maybe it's a political commentary. Maybe it's like one of these lives. Maybe it's a writer who occasionally uses words like orgasmic while referring to cake. Either way, you click and boom! Content blurred, comment section blocked, and your feed now behind a velvet rope manned by an algorithm with a clipboard. So you see, it's by stealth. They're doing everything by stealth, slowly. They're implementing the digital ID framework. They're implementing the digital ID infrastructure. And just remember what they're doing with Substack. They'll start slowly and do it with lots of others. I have to sign in all the time to Facebook, not that I use it much, to X, to all of my social medias, to my emails. They are the gatekeepers for us to get access to knowledge that we want to have access to. Bad Wolf Project and former Talk TV Breakfast Show Mike Graham worked with them at Talk 107 in Edinburgh. Launches his Breakfast Show tomorrow on Substack, same as Dan Wootton. Alternatively, use a VPN in a different country, no ID required. Wasn't George Soros, I believe he was using a VPN, wasn't George Soros seemingly in Russia or some European city? And everybody was like, whoa, hang on a second, what's George Soros doing over here? I thought he was in Canada or America. So the information that I'm giving you, and the Bad Wolf Project, I do believe that that Mike Graham doesn't really know what he's doing at the moment. I think he's decided he's not going to do a 4-hour show every day, Monday to Friday. So I think that may change and it'll be fluid. He might do it later on in the day. But I'll give, I know Mike. I've known Mike for 20 years because I worked with him at Talk 107 and he would confirm this. Mike's got to put his toe in the water, see how it goes. So the digital ID, this is World War III. This is the hill to die on, metaphorically. And why do I say that? Because they're going to put the bars around you and you don't even realize you're in prison. This is about your own integrity, your family, protecting you, your family, and your community, whatever that community may be. It might be a physical community, a village, a town, a city. It might be a tribe. It could be people of a certain persuasion or liking for certain types of art, or any community you wish. But you won't get access to that because they'll decide your name's not down, you're not coming in. But here's an answer. As I say, I'm not all doom and gloom. I want to tell you what is happening in real time, in a real way, so that you get the understanding and context from it. But here's where we rebel. We have a hope that's coming. And that's why at the beginning of this live, 5D chess, at the beginning of this live, I told you about Nigel Farage and the bodily fluids that's been caked on his face. Are you aware that Cornwall Council is refusing digital ID? A council is telling the national government to go and Foxtrot Oscar. Cornwall Council are refusing digital ID. They are the first local authority to say, no. So let's see if the Reform UK councils refuse it. I did say to you that what was coming was the people would push back, the people in power, realising that they may lose their seat and or their grasp on power and or the government seat, and it might go to reform, might actually back off, put the infrastructure in place so that 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line, you will have no choice because the infrastructure will be there, it will be working, and the only way that you can get access to that is by having digital ID. That's how they're going to do it. So I don't know whether Reform actually can do what Cornwall Council are doing and all the varying councils around the country refuse it, because ultimately the system's going to be in place. But it is going to be a big test of Reform. If Reform are not going to do that and they're going to go along with it, that might see things wobble, especially with support of Reform if they don't. So the bottom line, look, as I've said to you before, I'm too old a cat to be fucked by a kitten. Governments, and are you listening to me carefully? Governments or the government won't mandate digital ID. Instead, they're going to outsource it to private companies. Oh, shall we have a guess? Yeah, Tony Blair and his son. And those private companies will demand that if you wish to use its services, obviously they're going to do everything by the back door, because from where I'm sitting and observing, the Labour Party and members of Parliament within the Parliamentary Labour Party love to do things by the back door. Yeah. Anthony, Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates, Google it. So all the dodgy socialists doing it by the back door, and then boom, before you know it, you're going to be in the system. Can you see how easy it is for them? They think that we think we're being clever, but they're always one step ahead because they're using your taxes to do all this. The other day, I was in my NHS app. Was it One Gov, One Password, One something or other? And I went into my NHS app, and then this alert kind of pinged up saying, we want to share your data with third-party companies. And if you click here to access a message from my doctor's surgery, obviously saying, Mr. Allen, you've not been in. We're losing money. Can you come in again? I deleted the app. I didn't go through it. I deleted the app off my phone. If my doctors have anything to say to me, pick up the fucking phone. And if I want to speak to my doctors, I'll pick up the phone and go and see them. I'm not having the NHS app on my phone over my dead body, because I know what they're doing. They're putting the infrastructure in place, and before you know it, before I know it, we're going to be in the system and we're not going to be able to get out. Will mass boycotting save us? I don't know. I'm doing the Gandhi thing. Be the change you want to see in the world. I'm not being told what to do. They can go and themselves. Royally. And let me tell you, so we're going through digital ID, then we're going to Cornwall, and then my little story about the NHS app, which is not on my phone anymore. But it kind of goes via Trump. Are you aware that the White House is telling United States diplomats to collect migrant crime data in Britain? I'll sell you this again, and I'll tell you it again. Adrian, what are you selling us? Snake oil! Snake oil! So Donald Trump, the White House, has told US diplomats to collect migrant crime data in Britain. The Trump administration is telling US diplomats here in Blighty to review, and I quote, directly, human rights abuses, end of quote, committed by migrants, with an internal memo claiming Brits have been let down on immigration by both the Tories and Labour, the Uniparty. Similar instructions were shared to embassies across Europe, Canada, what am I telling you? Canada, Australia, and Canada, although the UK was singled out as an outlier. I keep telling you, they're practicing everything in New Zealand, Canada, and Australia. And when you see any reportage in the mainstream media about Australia, Canada, or New Zealand, you know that it's going to happen here. You know they're going to implement it because they're all WEF puppets. I don't know why I'm pointing up there. WEF's not up there, neither Switzerland. So, Andrew James, where are you? I think Temu are worse than AliExpress with snooping, but the apex is TikTok. Oh, yeah. Oh, and 2026? No, I'll leave it till maybe tomorrow night or Wednesday. Because remember, tomorrow night, I'm going to start the live tomorrow night at 8. I'm just having a month of experimentation where we'll vary the start times and or the length of the live. Because I would rather get in, do a tight hour's worth of stuff that kind of blows your mind, rather than it be a little loose in 90 minutes. But I'm just going to just have a look at things, at the data for a January 1st rebrand, so that you're getting more of the stuff that you like, and I'm in service of you, your family, and your community. It is really important that you understand that. I'm doing this for no thanks. I'm doing it to be in service of you, your family, and your community, because the direction of travel is tyranny. We only have very few options and even less hope, but we do have hope all the same. And I will continue to give you the answers that I feel you need to put in your jigsaw for you to get context, understanding, and by that, power. So, Stephen Hall says, isn't TikTok owned by the Chinese? Well, part of it is. I think they're selling part of it to America. So, because the Americans get a bit nervy. Stuart says, you're very kind, Stuart. I'll watch whatever time you're on, Rev. Ashton Photography, certificate of vaccine ID. Yeah, they're going to say. I mean, Blair has been quite open about this. You need to prove that you're vaccinated before you can go and do anything with your digital ID. Here, mate, shove it where the sun don't shine. Because they think that we're just breeders, we're just thick, and they're laughing at us all the time. Or you need you need a certificate of vaccine ID. Well, here's a really important question to ask Tony Charles Linton Blair. Anthony, mate, Tony, tell us, where did little Leo go for his MMR vaccine? I wonder what the answer is, Tony. Well, wait, mate. I know you understand the northeastern accent because you were MP for fucking some outlying knuckle-dragging shit heap, so you can come and tell us, little Leo, how many jabs did he get for his MMR vaccine? Was it a oneer? Was it a twoer? Or was it a threeer? And was it in France or was it in the United Kingdom, Tony, mate? So don't tell us and my body of the kirk and my parishioners and my friends that I need a certificate of vaccine ID. Jackie Glasgow, good to see you. Comic Mania, his son never had the MMR. I'll put my shirt on it. Comic Mania, you'll be correct. Had them separately in France. So let's have certificate of vaccine ID from the Blair family. Can I give you a momentous piece of information? Now, I'm going to make a prediction tonight that I know you won't forget. I had a dream about Benjamin Netanyahu the other night. It's all right, kept his clothes on. Have you noticed how he's losing weight? Ozempic, anyone? I've told you for years, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi to his mates, is one of the most evil men on planet Earth. The reason why he needed to be a war prime minister of Israel is because then he can't be taken to court and prosecuted. So I'm going to explain something to you. Today, Benjamin Netanyahu's office released a request and a letter by Netanyahu himself in light of the, and I am quoting, the importance of this extraordinary request and its implications. What are we talking about? Benjamin Netanyahu seeks pardon from Israel's president. Remember, I've been telling you since October the 7th, Netanyahu only wanted to be a war prime minister because then he couldn't be prosecuted. The minute the war's over and he's not a war prime minister anymore, he can be prosecuted, he can be taken to court. So Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has asked the country's president, Isaac Herzog, for a pardon over corruption cases he has been battling. This is how corrupt he is. Israelis, Gazans, and innocent civilians have all been killed because of this man. And he's asking the country's president, Isaac Herzog, for a pardon over corruption cases he's been battling. So the president's office, Isaac Herzog, has said Herzog would receive opinions from justice officials before considering the request, which carries with it significant implications. I bet it does. Now, little Bibi has been standing trial for the past 5 years on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in connection with 3 separate cases. Obviously, little Bibi denies any wrongdoing. He said in a video message that he would have preferred to see the process to the end, but national interest demanded otherwise. The Israeli opposition said he should admit guilt before seeking a pardon. Now, you know the legal profession worldwide. If you admit guilt, then you're done. He's never going to admit guilt before seeking a pardon. He wants pardoned before he admits any guilt. But then again, so did Fauci, so did Big Mike, so did Bathhouse Barry, and anybody else that got pardons from seemingly the auto pen. Now, earlier this month, I don't know whether you can remember this, President Trump urged Herzog, Isaac, Izzy, Zach, whatever, and I'm quoting directly, fully pardon Netanyahu. Netanyahu is fighting for his political life. He's also fighting for his liberty, because there's every chance he could go to jail. He denies wrongdoing. And at the time, President Herzog of Israel made it clear that anyone seeking a pardon had to submit a formal request. So today, Netanyahu's office released the request and a letter by Bibi himself in light of the importance of this extraordinary request and its implications. It offered no indication of when the president might reach a decision. But in 2020, Benjamin Netanyahu became the first serving Israeli prime minister to stand trial. I told you the Israeli people, the Israelites, they didn't want Netanyahu in power. Tel Aviv, there were demonstrations with hundreds of thousands of people on the street. Anti-Netanyahu protests. So in the first case that Netanyahu faces, prosecutors alleged that he had received gifts, mainly cigars and bottles of champagne, from powerful businessmen in exchange for favours. In my house, that's called corruption. Netanyahu was also accused in a second case of offering to help improve the circulation of an Israeli newspaper in exchange for positive coverage. In my house, that's called corruption. And in a third case, prosecutors have alleged that he promoted regulatory decisions favourable to the controlling shareholder of an Israeli telecoms company in exchange for positive coverage by a news website. In my house, that's called corruption. Just in my house. So Netanyahu has pleaded not guilty to all the charges and branded the trial as of course, it's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. I'm telling you, it's a witch hunt by political opponents. So in today's defiant video message, he claimed that the cases against him were collapsing. Don't think so, Bibi mate. But that the process was tearing Israel apart from within. That's so magnanimous of him. I am certain, this is Bibi Netanyahu before you ask, I am certain, as are many others in the nation, that an immediate end to the trial would greatly help lower the flames and promote broad reconciliation, something our country desperately needs. Netanyahu has said that he's being required to testify before court 3 times a week, describing that as an impossible demand. Mate, you're not at war anymore. You're on trial. And the Israeli people have seen right through your brown stuff. A pardon, according to Bibi Netanyahu, would help Israel fend off threats and seize opportunities by fostering national unity. Infamy! Infamy! They've all got infamy! Now, Netanyahu's political opponents have accused him of attempting to conflate his interests with those of the state. You don't say. No shit, Sherlock. Even opposition leader Yair Lapid said there could be no pardon without an admission of guilt, an expression of remorse, and Netanyahu's immediate retirement from political life. He got $120 billion from America. For what? So let's have a look at the money that's being laundered through Israel, shall we? $120 billion of taxpayer dollars. And Yair Golan, a left-wing politician and former deputy commander of Israeli forces, said only the guilty sought pardons. According to Israel's basic law, the president has the power to pardon criminals and reduce or alter their sentence. So he's going to have to admit he's a criminal. Now, he's nervous because if he goes, yeah, I'm a criminal, and everybody else goes, ha 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 ha, ha got you, jail. However, and this is the end of this, Israel's High Court of Justice has previously ruled that the president can pardon an individual before they are convicted, if it is in the public interest. It's always in the bloody public interest, or if there are extreme personal circumstances. Now, Netanyahu's Likud party and his supporters have always supported a pardon for their leader. I'm telling you that because that fulcrum, again, Iran 2026, that's going to be sorted. Netanyahu, I wish him a long life and good health. But the dream I had the other night was him being assassinated. As I say, I wish Bibi Netanyahu long life, good health, but the dream I had, he was assassinated. And I'm just putting that here to see what happens in 2026. I'm not bloody psychic. I'm not. I've told you before, I'll be winning the lottery every week. Hang on, I said that. We've got nearly 200 people watching. If you could smash the likes, please, and get them somewhere near 200, over 200, because that indicates to YouTube that there's something very special going on the channel, and it sends out the lives, puts them in front of all their eyeballs, and as more people can see it. I am looking at, I've got a few more things I want to tell you, but I will say this to you. I'm looking at everything, and I want to be in service of information that you get, clarity from the information that I provide. Clarity brings context. Context brings understanding. And with the understanding, you can protect your home, your family, and your community. That's why I'm in service. For 3 years, I've done this for you. That's why I'm in service. There'll be more tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what it is until I get it up and running. So, if you will allow me to be patriotic, because this is England, my England. And Tucker Carlson has been talking about, and I'll kind of use his language, about the strange death of England. My nation's capital, thereby yours, I'm sure. I know we have some Scots and some Welsh and some Irish. We're a band of brothers and sisters. This is England, my version of England. And what I see for England and Scotland, I've lived in Scotland and Wales, not Northern Ireland, but what I see for those countries is greatness. We've brought many things to the world in many different fields, in many different ways, but we have been leaders in the past. It's just this political class, this parasitical class, whether it's Edinburgh or London or Cardiff, they're not leaders. The parasites, the parasitical classes are taking our money, our taxes. When, if you think about how much money she's trying to raise, that's Robert Reeves, and give 50 billion to Europe. And the welfare bill, if all that money was poured into the infrastructure of this country, can you imagine how wonderful it would be to live in the United Kingdom? We have some of the most beautiful lands and scapes and vistas in the world ever. North Yorkshire, Scotland is breathtaking in its beauty. I lived there for 10 years in many different ways, whether it's in the Highlands or the Central Belt or some of the waters off the east and west coast. And I've lived in Wales and loved it. This Sceptred Isle is a thing of such outstanding natural beauty. If we had the money pumped in for the people here who pay the taxes here, can you imagine how wonderful it would be to live here? This is England. My England. Britain, if I can use that, was the most powerful country in the history of the world. Britain was the most powerful country in the history of the world, mankind. Some would say greater than the Roman Empire, greater than the Ottoman Empire, greater than any empire in the history of the world. And then, now, it's this kind of sad, soggy welfare state. It's got a soft belly. We don't stand up for anything anymore. We don't stand for anything anymore. We have no integrity as a community or as a group. England, my England. It's this, to some extent, what still is, except maybe even a little bit worse. What's happened? Are you aware that the London demographic, the change in the London demographic is quite unprecedented in peacetime? I'm going to give you facts. In 1975, the white British population of London, my nation's capital, was about 85%. Today, 50 years later, it's just 37% and falling. Now, I will be clear. What I am not saying is it's about a man or woman's skin tone. It's not. It is about humankind. It is about England, my England. Not Little England as portrayed by the BBC, not Little Englanders as portrayed by the mainstream media, because the BBC and the mainstream media have as much responsibility and accountability, because I remember the TV of the 60s, barely, 70s, definitely. They're pitching us against each other. They are pitting us against each other. This is one of the greatest nations ever in mankind. This is England, my England. We've given sports to the world. We've given inventions to the world. We've given the railroad to the world. We've given just immense and wonderful things. We've given the light bulb-ish to the world. And yet, we are being told that we are simply not good enough. We are below. We're not. So every time I do a live, and I will keep my word, I intend to make you feel great about yourself. I intend to make anybody watching this feel great about themselves. Why? Because we have greatness inbuilt into ourselves. We are England, my England. We are Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland. We love who we are and where we live. And I make no bones about it. I'm very proud. I don't need to fly a flag. I'm very proud of who I am and what I stand for. My integrity, my accountability, everything. Because you, by being on these lives, support me in what I do. And thereby, I am in service of you, your family, and your community. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes. Just before I finish, smash the likes, please. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, always, your indulgence. We start tomorrow night, Monday night, 8 o'clock. Slight change, only because I want to see how the numbers and the data work out. I just want to do some experimentation during December. I hope you don't mind. But I will be here, supporting you in all of your endeavours and supporting this country in its greatness, because it always has been and it always will be great. So no matter what you do or where you go, please be safe. Look after yourself, you, your family, and your community. And I shall be here Monday night, 8 p.m. We'll do another live. And remember, Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind is not a show. It's a mission. And the mission is truth. See you Monday, 8 o'clock. Have a good day. I've got loads to tell you tomorrow night. See you then.